Well, that's a very moving and bright story. And it just underlines something I always say to audiences, that every convert to Islam that I've ever met, their conversion really begins with meeting a Muslim. You know, it doesn't, Islam is a really interesting religion in the sense that it's a lived religion, right? You can pick up the Bible and read it, and you can be convinced by simply the words in the Bible. But Islam, to someone who's not a Muslim, and I also am a convert. I became a Muslim a few years before you, but similarly. But you know, on the face value, I'm going to tell you, fellow Muslims in the audience, it's not a very attractive package here. You know? Give up drinking, no more ham sandwiches, and I pray 5 times a day. And then a month out of the year, I got to fast. I got to drink water. I became a Muslim in the summer, so that was actually something I considered. So what is it? What it often is you've met somebody who has something, who conveys, like you're saying, a kindness, is something that becomes attractive. You know, and I'm often asked, and I really resist ever being on a panel where the topic is why you became Muslim, because I know what everybody in the audience wants. They want to know what's the book, what's the verse, what's the thing that I read or heard that convinces people, and it's not that, it's you. It's how you behave. It's the kindness or the lack of kindness. If you are driving down the road and someone cuts you off and you honk the horn and look angry, you are reinforcing the negative opinions about Muslims. On the other hand, if you do an act of kindness, you smile, you share, you do that, you are saying something different. You're surprising people. My experience was this. Here was the Muslim it started with that changed me. I was in graduate school. I was also an atheist. I was searching. I was feeling some kind of desire to go back to some kind of faith. I was studying theology in graduate school, but I was also going to different places, churches, temples, mosques. I was not yet a mosque, but all kinds of faiths. I was really trying to find where I fit. And I felt like Islam couldn't possibly be it. But you know how doctors like to rule things off by doing tests? So I thought, okay, let me just rule off Islam. I'll go to a mosque. I'm sure I'll see that it's not for me, and that'll be it. So it happened to be during Ramadan. And I was living up in Boston, and it was this little mosque. It wasn't very big. First thing that happened, I got to the door, and I go to walk in, and someone puts their hand on my chest, stopping me, and say, "Take off your shoes." And I'm thinking, take off my shoes? What if I have to get the hell out of here really fast? But anyway, I took off my shoes, and now it was really intimidating. So I kind of found the deepest, darkest corner in this mosque that I could find. I hid. And I'm just sort of watching what's going on, and suddenly there's the call for prayer. And the next thing I know, I see this guy walking with, which I thought was a Xerox box lid, walking around. And I'm thinking, oh my God, he's collecting the Muslim ID cards. So I kind of hid deeper in that little corner, and he walked on by listening. But I suddenly realized he wasn't collecting something, he was giving something out. And I was curious what it was, and I'm like straining my neck to look, and this guy, about as far away from me as the Imam, noticed me looking at his hand. And of course, what was he giving out? Dates, right? And he'd given him 2 dates. And he noticed me looking at his hand. I remember his eyes dropped to my hand, saw that I had none, and he takes one of them and he gives it to me. Now here's a man who had been fasting. This was summer, fasting all day. Nothing to eat, nothing to drink. He'd been given 2 tiny, teeniest pieces of fruit. He saw I was lacking one, and he gave one of them to me. And I myself would not have done that. I would have looked away and snuffed it away. And so I left thinking, wow, there's something here that I never knew. And that was the thing that began my own personal journey, and that began meeting more Muslims and so on and so forth. So it really is up to you, but I've got to say, similar to your story too, then I became a Muslim, and then I went to a mosque, and then I met another Muslim who almost ruined the whole thing for me. You know, by criticizing this and that. So I'm just saying, a lot, you know, Islam gets its good or bad reputation based on our actions. And none of us are powerless in that. So think about that when you're out in public and you're doing stuff. That this man who I'll never meet again, he'll never know, but the simplest thing, he gave me that day, which led, in essence, even to this evening. It began me on a journey that's now taking me to here. In that simplest, smallest, act of kindness. No act of kindness is too small. Never underestimate it. We all have the power to change the world by being mindful of our behavior.
What a wonderful and hopeful message to end the evening on. I want to thank you for staying this long with us and for joining us here tonight. I want to thank you for your questions, and I apologize to those of you who we could not read your questions. But on your behalf, I also want to thank the panel. It's an honor for me to be with them here and for their insight. I want to thank Shake It Entertainment for helping us shake some stereotypes. And certainly want to thank on your behalf Alex and UPF for sharing this movie with us. The movie, I think, is scheduled to be aired on PBS beginning of February 2010, and I assume after that it will probably be online for sale. So this was a unique opportunity for all of us to see it before it went public, but now we're all prepared and we've received call to action from our panel, so I hope you've all written it down, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you again for coming out, and I want to thank, by the way, the Queen Elizabeth Theatre for hosting us here tonight. Thank you, and have a great evening.